I just wanted to show you today how I create a plan for where I'm going to put my trees in my yard. And so I'm going to do that for you real quick right here. Now, the first thing that I like to do is I like to go to Google Earth and I take a picture of my property. So in this case, this is not my house necessarily, but I just found a house in a newer neighborhood. It didn't seem like they had a lot of trees in their yard, so it'd be pretty easy to draw them out. And what I like about Google Earth is it has like a little measurement tool or a little measurement key at the bottom that shows you like how big 20 feet is. So I usually like to do that. And then all I do is, and we'll get that right kind of where I want it. We take a screenshot of the yard. So I'm going to do that real quick. So this is a screenshot of the property. It's going a little bit past the property lines, but that's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to take this screenshot, and you can probably use PowerPoint. I'm going to use Keynote because I have a Mac, and but you can use PowerPoint too. I feel like they're pretty easy to do. I'm going to start a new document. It doesn't really have to be anything special, just anything. And then I delete, and I insert this picture that I just took. Okay, we'll save it as house. Trees for house. Okay, doesn't really matter if you save it as a PNG or JPEG, either one of those should be fine. Okay, now I've got that saved. Got to find it over here. Sorry. This is a little bit tricky. My desktop is messier than usual. All right, so I'm going to drag and drop it in here. Here we go. And then I'll just make this as big as I can. And you have to have an idea of kind of what trees you want to put where. And I've been going over like where I want to put trees, but I'm just going to kind of show you how I do it. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to choose a shape and choose a circle. And let's say, for example, your tree has a diameter of about 35 to 40 feet. So you can take your circle, and I kind of use this guide over here. So this is 20 feet, so I'd make my circle about the diameter of that. If you can't see, you can just drag the opacity down. Okay, so I need to make it bigger. Okay, so you can see this is about double, so that's about 40 feet in diameter. And a lot of times I like to choose a color that would match maybe the fall color of the tree. So this is probably a big tree, like a big oak tree or something like that. Now this is really going to give you a good idea of where you can plant it. Obviously you might think, oh, I want to plant it, it'll look cute with it being small right next to your house. But then once it's full grown, you're going to see that it's going to overhang a large part of your house. You're going to have leaves in your gutters and all that stuff. So, planting an oak tree, like a large tree like this, you're going to see really quickly may not be the best choice. Maybe over here, if you're far enough away from your neighbors, and actually maybe if I did a screenshot, I would take a bigger shot so you could see your neighbors too, because you don't want the tree obviously overhanging into your neighbor's house as well. So I guess technically you could stick the oak tree, like if this little tree that they've planted here is an oak tree, that would be fine. So you could put one there, and then if you want to add another tree, I just copy it and paste it and drag it and say, okay, but I also want to have like a big shade tree over here by my patio area. Maybe this is the southwest side of the house or something like that. So you want to get it lots of shade. This is actually, I'm guessing this is the north side of the house over here. So this is the south. This would be the west side. So having this tree here is great for giving it shade. But maybe you want to have a big shade tree in your backyard, or maybe you're going to have a playscape or something like that. So you can put your tree. And if some of the branches kind of overhang a little bit into your neighbor's yard, that's probably okay. But you definitely don't want to plant it like right on the property line where it's going to be like half in your neighbor's yard. It's going to be hanging over, like you can see there's like a little shed here. Like you obviously don't want it hanging over their shed or anything like that. So anyways, this gives you a good idea of where you're going to put it. So here, we'll just stick our shade tree. And we'll just put it over here for now. Okay. If you want to have a little bit of fun with it, you can also go to shape, and here with Apple, you can choose a tree, and usually I'll just make this, like these are kind of opaque, and then I'll make this one not. You can kind of draw a little tree out here and kind of put the trunk right where you want to plant it if you want to, or however you want to do that. So eventually, you know, it might be really small up front, but you're seeing that the full spread of the tree where it's going to be like overall. Let's say you want to plant an evergreen tree. Okay, so we'll move our little evergreen over here. We'll turn it green, and then we'll do another shape of a circle. And this one, I'll make it green as well, since it's always green. This evergreen, we'll do the Black Hills spruce. This one only gets to be about 15 to 20 feet across. So I'm going to size it over here to my little thing. This is not super scientific, but it works. Change the opacity so you can kind of see through it where you want to put it. And let's say you really want to have a good windbreak from, you know, the north wind over here. So you could, you know, plant it here, put your little evergreen tree there to show that it's an evergreen. So this is basically what you can do. Like, let's say you get another tree and you want it to be, maybe it's yellow in color in the fall. Turn down the opacity a little bit. This one's going to get no more than 35 feet, so a little bit bigger than 20 feet. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. We don't have to be, that looks close to 35 feet. Maybe you want this to frame your house a little bit, so you kind of put it out here in your front yard. Okay. Like I said, you don't want it hanging over into the neighbor's property too much. Definitely don't want it hanging over their house. Okay, so, you know, and this is really going to help you. You might think that you want a certain tree, and then as soon as you start playing around with how it's going to be when it's fully grown, you realize, oh man, this is not going to fit here. And it's much better to do that by drawing a picture and figuring that out than planting a tree and then realizing within, you know, 10 to 15 years that you've got to take out, you spent all this money and time on this tree and you have to tear it down. Okay, so let's say that we've got that what we want, and you can also label them. This is kind of fun. You can take your text, put it over here. I'll change it to white. Oops. We'll say this is an oak tree. You can even say what kind of oak if you want. Turn the text color to white. You can make it bigger or smaller. And then we've got, this is a Black Hills spruce. Okay, kind of drag it out. Put that over here. You can copy and paste that. Oop. Don't do that. Copy and paste it. Move this over here. Chinese pistache, and then paste it again and say this is a red maple tree. All right, there you go. Really quick, just a few minutes, and I've drawn out where all my trees are going to go, what they're going to look like, how big they're going to get, and where I want to have them on my property, where they're going to work and where they're not going to work. Yeah, this one here too, if you've got a big red maple, you don't want to plant it closer than 6 feet to any paved driveways or walkways. So you might realize that this one's not going to work here because it gets way too big. You might need to go to a different size of a tree. And really a lot of the, what I would call rules, I'd say more rules of thumb than rules for planting trees. I have all of that available for you in a free download called Tree Placement 101. And it will basically give you all of the guidelines for what kinds of trees to put where to not plant them, and all that good stuff. So anyways, I hope this is helpful to you. I just did this on my own property yesterday and printed it out, and I can take that map out in my yard and know exactly where I want to have these trees. And while they may be small and feel really spaced out when they're little, you can know that when they are large, they're going to fit. They're not going to overhang your house. They're not going to grow roots into your foundation. They're not going to grow up into power lines. Planning ahead is going to save you a lot of headaches in the long run, because you can have these trees for their entire lifespan, and you're not going to have to take them out or take them down early. And also they're going to do a lot for you in terms of energy savings and things like that. Having evergreen trees on the north side of your house can help protect you from winter winds. Having shade trees on the southwest and on the south and on the west sides of your house can give you lots of great shade in the summertime to reduce those energy bills. And like I said, in the guide that I gave you, it will give you guidelines as to how close you want them planted to different structures and different things like that. You definitely don't want trees that are going to be overhanging your house or too close to things that are removable or that are important, like power lines, sewer lines, water lines, all that good stuff. So anyways, I hope that was helpful to you.